As India commemorates 75 years of its independence, a new script is being written on the economic front. A tripartite foundation of a determined political will to take difficult decisions for the greater good, speedy implementation of fiscal objectives, and a science and technology-based development model have propelled India to the coveted top 5 economies of the world. India recently surpassed the United Kingdom to become the 5th biggest economy. The country's nominal GDP in the first quarter clocked over 854 billion USD against the United Kingdom's 816 billion USD in the same period. Among all major economies, India's growth at 3.83% in the 3-year period is the highest, followed by the United States at 3.78%, Canada at 2.58%, the UK at 1.06%, France at 0.68%, and Japan at negative 1.27%. What is even more significant in this achievement is the fact that India reached these numbers at a time when the world was still struggling with the economic fallout of COVID-induced shocks.
The Prime Minister used the challenge of the pandemic as an opportunity of the multiple rounds of economic reforms which covered vast sectors of the economy, which has deeply enhanced the productivity, long-term productivity of the economy.
Industrialists across the spectrum predict that by the end of the decade, India will enter the rarefied era of the top 3 economies of the world. The major components of the business support package included financial measures for micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. Instead of providing cash handouts, the additional support was provided in the form of concessional credits to farmers, as well as a credit facility for street vendors. India's incredible pace of immunization proved instrumental in its economic resurgence. After a sharp contraction in the first quarter since the COVID outbreak and a moderate contraction in the following months, the Indian economy registered a sharp V-shaped growth trajectory. The Production-Linked Incentive Scheme, PLI, was launched to develop an incentive-based model to boost domestic manufacturing. Analysts believe that PLI can contribute up to 4% to the GDP annually in terms of incremental revenue. Digital India led from the front during the COVID distress when India distributed nearly 5 billion USD in cash benefits to the impoverished, direct to their accounts. The country was already on a digital-first trajectory with one of the highest volumes of digital transactions in the world when the pandemic struck, and further propelled the use of contactless digital technology. India is now clocking around 100 million digital transactions a day, with a volume of 67 billion USD, about a 5-times jump from 2016. A World Economic Forum 2020 report says the use of digital technology led to savings of nearly 23 billion USD, 98% of this by eliminating erroneous beneficiaries.
What it is telling you in the broader context, leaving aside the UK, the specific thing, is that India is moving up the power scale. And according to my earlier forecast, by 28 to 30, we will become the 3rd largest country.
Those who have invested in the India story have more to look forward to. The PM Gati Shakti is a master plan for coordinated implementation of infrastructure projects with around 16 ministries on board to coordinate seamless transportation of goods and other services. The scheme's rapid implementation is moving at the same pace of growth as the country's rapidly accelerating economy. It is also reducing travel time for people across the country. In addition to emphasis on building infrastructure projects like highways, bridges, ports, and airports, the government is also giving priority to build special economic zones to provide an internationally competitive and hassle-free environment for exports. Reduction in restrictive compliances, a strong infrastructure foundation, an educated workforce, and one of the largest markets in the world sends a strong message to investors around the world. India is open for business.